Now is Dr. Ashley Maxie-Moreman, a psychologist at Children's National Hospital and an expert on the potential impact the internet could have on youth. Doctor, thank you so much for being with us.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Of course, and no other part of the world has ever had a ban like this in place, and it makes sense. Social media, it's relatively new in all of our lives, especially the kids who are now growing up with digital. They never had a time without it. Do you think this is a good idea, this ban?
That's a really good question. I don't pretend to know the answer to if this ban is going to be effective or not. What I do know is that I strongly believe that social media companies need to be held accountable, and this should include forcing their hand through policy to implement much more intentional and strict regulation on their platforms to protect our youth.
What are some of the specific ways, doctor, that you see too much screen time and social media use can be detrimental for a young and not fully developed mind?
Yeah, well, actually, Pew Research Center just released a report showing that most 13 to 17-year-olds in the U.S. use YouTube and TikTok daily, and roughly around 20% of those same kiddos are on one of those platforms almost constantly. And this is pretty consistent with what I'm seeing clinically. So lots of kiddos are coming in and telling me that they use these different social media apps daily. And then I have about a quarter of my kiddos that are exhibiting addictive like behaviors with social media use. So that just means that they're having difficulty controlling their social media use and setting limits. And this is interfering or negatively impacting other activities like schoolwork, sleep, spending time with friends and family, and their mental health. So increases in anxiety and depression.
Gosh, I mean, not good things. If you're a parent out there and you're seeing this in your kid, it is part of our world now. It's so tempting for parents, I know, to get that screen out, have a couple extra minutes to finish up cleaning, finish up the dishes over here. What would you recommend for parents on ways they can kind of, with the accountability portion being lacking, parents have to step in and do it and control it. We don't have a ban yet here like Australia, but what are ways parents can step in there and regulate?
Parents should be setting their own restrictions and being transparent with their kids about those restrictions. And that just means having regular, open conversation with their kids about social media use to help them grow their digital literacy skills. So having regular conversations about what we're seeing on social media, what's been being circulated online, helping them to grow their ability to find, evaluate, heavy emphasis on evaluate, and create information in digital spaces. As well as learning how to safely navigate these spaces. All of those things are really important to talk about on a regular basis with your child.
Doctor, you mentioned that key phrase, digital literacy, because I was going to next question play devil's advocate a little bit here to say, is there good to social media? Should kids have some exposure to it since it's not going anywhere, and at some point they have to understand it? So maybe that's what you're saying there. One of the points kids should learn about social media, get comfortable in that space, and that involves the parent.
Yeah, so my recommendation is that we try to certainly limit social media use and put off social media use as long as possible. But ultimately, there are some benefits. We know that for our marginalized kiddos, they have been able to build meaningful communities on social media. There are youth who've gained entrepreneurial skills, and there are kiddos who've been able to really engage politically in healthy and productive ways. So there are positives to social media engagement. The reality is that there do need to be limitations and precautions in place, similar to getting a driver's license. Kids need to have digital literacy skills before they are put into these digital spaces that are essentially like the Wild Wild West right now.
All right, Dr. Ashley Maxie-Moreman, thank you so much for joining us with your expertise and your insight. We appreciate your time very much.